Alrighty. Oof, man, I gotta keep an eye out for my hard drive space. Recording all this stuff. All right. So, what do I want to do here? What I want to do here. Let's take a look at the level as a whole now. Okay, that's all right. Right, so get that out. So I'm thinking I need to add some stuff to this level. Stuff that, well, stuff that I can fill up the level content with. Call this an actual complete piece. I wanted this to be a small project. Okay, so what I'm thinking is maybe I can tackle lighting. Not lighting per se, but more or less the shadows. And the reason I want to do that is just for the sake of an experiment. So what I need is I need to define. I'm thinking that I need to define the shapes of these physics objects. So we don't need to make any sort of lighting calculations outside of the player space. Maybe just a little bit outside of the view, but for the most part, yeah. It's going to be a simple system, and any object that needs to have shadows will have to have some sort of a shadow bounding box be defined, so that we can actually make use of the shadow system. So, all right. So let's try with this thing here. This is the... What object is this? It's one of these objects. What is this? Well, looks like I just got a web development order. I wasn't sure if this lady would pull through, but hey, there's the deposit. Okay, give me 1 second. Alright, sorry for that. Ooh, alright. So yeah, she's gonna send a deposit tomorrow, which means that will be a web development project. It'll take maybe about 2 weeks to produce. After that, she'll pay the rest, and great, I'll be able to put it on my portfolio. Wolf, how's it going? Long time no see, man. What are you working on? I'm working on a video game development course for something of a spur of a moment idea I had. I had this image in my head. I wanted some sort of a game where you could just drop in with your friends and, you know, have some fun in a physics-based environment. So I came up with this networking thing where you can play with multiple people. And, well, it's a small story. It's campaign-based. You host a server, you start the story, and you go through the tale together, so to speak. So there's a lot of networking, client and server-side networking I have to figure out while I'm doing it. But to be honest, it made a lot of things clearer for me for when I have to do networking for RTech Rise. Networked physics in Game Maker Studio. Yeah, I know. As if my life wasn't hard enough. But what I'm doing here is I have a server running, and the server does all the physics simulations. So all the players do is that they send key command inputs to the server, and all they get back is the position and rotation of their player object. Right, so I mean, so far so good. It's a little laggy right now because I'm recording at the same time as I'm running this game. But generally speaking, I have a couple of enemies that I've made. There we go. I even have this enemy right here. Lots of fun stuff. Can't wait to write the music for this. Any dead reckoning? Beg your pardon? Any dead reckoning? Okay, here we go. I've actually just finished my exam on game tech, including networking. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Oh, jeez. Right. This enemy is kind of fun. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Yeah, if you shoot that guy, he's gonna get agitated. Here, let me restart this. I need a room restart button. I don't have it. Why do I not have a room restart button? Okay, so step. Let's just do it real quick. Oh, jeez. Keyboard check pressed. VK F10? Sure. As far away from my fingers as possible. I like the style. Thank you. As much work as I've already put into this, the levels are so empty right now, there's nothing to it. There's still so much stuff that has to be made. Okay, so we'll room restart. So how much more do you have to go with your studies? Oof. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Alright, so these things always try to attack you. And it's all physics based. That guy got it. What the hell? That guy got it out of bounds. How did he get it out of bounds? Okay, so F10. What is this? Not set before reading. If point distance, detect radius. Object enemy eye, step 0. What? Room. Why does it glitch when room restart? That's kind of weird. Group project and dissertation left. I have work lined up for April. Nice. As in work for the college stuff, or work as in like paying work? Okay. So I'll let these guys kind of fondle me a bit. So that enemy right there is pretty fun. He starts tracking you, and if you move while he's looking at you, his iris slowly shrinks. And if you let it shrink too much, like if you move too much, he'll do this. Paying work at a company. Alright, well, that's good. See, that guy got out. How did he get out? There's something in here is an asset that's supposed to be an object. That's why it's getting out. So yeah, it's kind of a weird, grotesque level. I also have this thing, which I'm gonna use for scripted events, and this thing looks really cool. So these particles are supposed to be attracted to the player, and if too many of them attack the player, or if too many of them hit the player dies, and the vessel that the player controls becomes the enemy, right? Like an infected enemy. Yeah, all of this drawn by myself. So there's this another enemy that's going to be like a jump scare in the beginning. It's this guy. The alien swarm. And it kind of flies around and goes that way. Not in this level, though. It's going to be different. It's going to be in another place. But yeah. Cool stuff. Anyway, so what I wanted to do now is what I want to do now is get some lighting stuff done. Well, make some sort of a shadow system. It's probably going to be based on the GM's tutorial with their own draw triangle system. Haven't gotten too far into shaders to be able to do that in shaders. But it's going to be limited. It's going to be limited to a certain area. Okay. Aha! No, that's not it. Okay. Assets. Okay, somewhere out here, there's a hole through which these things could escape. And that hole would be made out of a non-object item. I have no idea what it is. Okay, well, we'll find it in a while. Okay. So, Wolf, have you had any of your own projects that you'd like to share? Or was it just all study for you? For a while? Okay. So, what I'm thinking is whether or not I'm gonna make this, whether or not each item should cast a shadow. Whole study, lots of coursework. I see. But I've been building a small graphics library, nothing to show though. I see. You were doing a lot of the OpenGL stuff on Twitter, right? Man, I gotta get into shaders. I really want to learn how to do just basic lighting, basic shadow mapping. How's RTAG coming along? I haven't really followed its progress. For RTAG, what I'm doing right now is all script, just all story. There's not a whole lot of technical or in-game stuff. Until I get this, like, I already have most of the groundwork done. There's still quite a lot to do, like dialogues and quest assignments and user interface and all that stuff. But for the most part, the basic building blocks are there. The one problem is that I do need some help with the project. Just for the sheer size of it. And, you know, right now what I'm kind of concentrating on is not so much game entertainment development, but educational content development, right? I'm going to launch my own platform and have my courses more or less like a Udemy-like environment. But the games that I do for these courses, you can either get, you know, the entire course with the game files and everything commented out, and the separate videos that I would record to go through the code and see what the code does. Or you could buy assets from the game, you know, like 3D assets, textures, sound files, all that stuff. So it's like a marketplace plus tutorial course platform that I'm working on. And this is for that particular course, or for that particular platform. This is one of the first entries. So getting that done has been kind of the bigger priority for me, to be honest. Once I get some sort of a stable source of income that's respectable, I may be able to fund some help for RTAG Rise. But for now, I just work on the script. Okay. So these are more or less courses than just single tutorials. Okay, so what do we have here? So you're building your own platform rather than use Udemy Skillshare. To be honest, Udemy Skillshare does not have the infrastructure to run my own thing. Plus Udemy takes 20-30% for not doing it, for just hosting your files. So also, what is that music you listen to? This is a soundtrack from Factorio. It's a nice atmospheric soundtrack that I can work to. Okay. Yeah, so the thing that I'm planning for this platform are not just a way of purchasing a video course and then being able to watch it on your account. It's a highly integrated thing. You can look at a 3D model. You can look at a 3D model on the marketplace on my platform, and there'll be a tiny thing that says, "This is a video of how this model was made," and you can purchase that video and know how it was made, right? So that's the sort of thing that I'm going for, a very granular way of selling it. And if you want to go bigger, you can get the entire model pack. If you want to go bigger, you can get, the entire game development course. But it's all integrated in one same platform. Udemy, Skillshare, they don't have that, right? They have ways of sharing files, but not ways of selling files. I have to integrate like 5 different platforms, and all 5 different platforms are gonna take their share from the sales. But to be honest, from what I've gotten from this is I've been doing a lot of web development as of the past half a year, and I actually find it really interesting just getting that stuff to work, right? So for me, it would be an interesting project just because it's an interesting thing for me to do. But from what I've seen is that people use sites like Udemy and Skillshare more or less because they don't have the skills to build their own platform. They don't know about the infrastructure. They don't know what goes into making it. So since I have an interest in it, I have a motivation to build my own platform specifically for my way of, my strategy, my monetization system. So, if you're just selling videos, even if you know how to build websites, you can use Udemy and Skillshare. In my case, it's a little bit more integrated, a little bit more involved. Noobs, how's it going? Okay, so here's what I need to do. I need to make a room, which I'll use for defining shadows. Okay, shadow, define room. Whoops. Shadow definer. Sure. Let's do that. Okay. Though my question is, should every single one of these objects cast shadows? I don't know. I know this thing needs to cast shadows. And then there's the question of Should the shadow casting be on top or below the player, right? Or below the object. Let's do a test, right? Just for the sake of doing a test. So what is this asset right here that I started out with? This is the Forest 001H fade. So we'll go here. We'll take our object Forest 001H fade. That would be this one. So now, what I need is, I need a way to, I need a way to define the points. So I need probably, let's make another group. Lighting. Object lighting, drop it in there, and we'll make obj shadow definer. Shadow define. Drop this object in here on the instance layer. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll say create event target equals, we'll set it to ID, we'll go step if mouse check button pressed, mouse button right, then we'll say target equals instance place, mouse X, mouse Y. Actually, not in, oh, okay. So we'll do that and all, I think. So that should return any, let's see, any instance, I think. This should check for all instances. Let's see if that is correct or if I'm just coming up with nothing. Okay, all instances currently active in the room. Cool. Alright. So that will give me the target by right click. We'll say DS grid create. All I need is X and Y. Yes. So 2, and we'll start with a 0. So shadow points. Okay. So now if mouse check button pressed and be right, we'll do the following. DH for, or GH for grid height. DS grid height of this. Then we'll say DS grid resize. For this, we'll say it still has to be 2, but it has to be GH plus 1. So height that we just read plus 1. Now we'll say DS grid right, DS grid set. Actually, in this, ID of the X value 0 in the grid coordinate, and GH for that. So now we need to do the following thing. The coordinates have to be relative to the to the instance the instance place thing. So, but see, if the object rotates, then we need to set a new x and y coordinate according to the rotation. So we have to use length direction. And that will be only in the create event. So what's easier to define? Just length direction? Yeah, I think that's actually a lot easier to define. So yeah, all right. So let's do we'll do whatchamacallit, length direction point distance between what the target x, actually target physics position x. What? I already have this. What are you doing, Restream? I already have you launched. Right. Okay, come on. I don't need you. Here we go. Right. So point distance from target physics x, target physics. I mean, we could technically do x and y. It might give me an error though. Mouse x, mouse y. And the reason it might give me an error is because I'm trying to place this object within a non-object or non-physics enabled room. So I think it might give me some trouble. Okay, so ds grid set 1 will be our direction. So that's what I'm going to be storing. I think that should be good. Mouse check button pressed. So what I need now is, after I do this, I need to say man, so many objects doing length direction stuff. It's gonna be tricky. Huh. No wonder shaders are useful. You could use that with the you could do that with the GPU at a fraction of time. Okay. Anyways, so that would be relative to the position. X, Y, mouse X, mouse Y. And all I need to do is ds grid right. And I'm gonna say just write this to a string. Now there's a memory thing. Cache, I think. Not cache. It's not. Is it buffer? What's the copy from memory thing? Okay, maker copy from memory. So there should be another one that writes to memory. clipboard set text. That's what it is. So clipboard set text, and we'll set it to this thing. So when we define 4 points, it will write it 4 times, but the 4th time that it writes it, it will have the more I write to it, the more points it will have. Okay. So that should work out just fine, hopefully. There's also a chance that this thing will actually not even start the room, because this, I think, is a physics object, and this is a non-physics room. Run the game. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna have to enable the physics in this room. Okay. So, one thing that I want to make sure that I do is have a draw event, and I'm draw text XY. We'll say target plus string. In the string, we'll go with target. We'll make sure that it actually assigns the target properly. Right? Right. Target 1. Oh, yeah, that's right. Man. There's no physics. It uses physics collisions. That's why it's not getting that. Ah, man. Okay. Fine. Fine. I'll just go ahead and... Let's see. I'll take this. And I'll say target equals this. There we go. So, we gotta do right click. Wait, what? Oh, okay. I mixed the two. Right click sets the instance. Left click sets the points. Gotta remember that. Kind of important. Okay. So, we'll do. Let's do look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that should have in my memory. Aha! The string. So that string now contains length and direction of the 4 points. Now, I'll take... what was this object? This guy. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's object terrain master. I don't need that. Actually, I might as well do it in object terrain master. I think so. Yeah, okay. This might be a little bit easier than I thought it would be. So let's add our own create event. We'll say shadow sh def for define. We'll set it to this string. That will be the string that contains our shadows. So now I gotta go and say terrain master. So the master will say, we'll have a blank one. And now just to check that it does work, I'll go back to the level and I'll say over here, this can be a super long string, but this is sh for shadow. Yes. So there are shadows in here, while all the other ones are empty. Beautiful. Something's happening though. Oh, there we go. Okay. Object terrain master. So in here, this is where we're gonna have to do some stuff. On the create event, we'll say, although okay, how about this? sh see the terrain create event. Variable global get, global set. It'd be great if we knew if it had the variable, but okay. I guess we'll have to make it in the step event. So prep shadows false. In the step event, we'll say shadows. If prep shadows is false, we'll do stuff and we'll say prep shadows is true. Now, with this thing in place, we need to say ds okay, shadow sh points equals ds grid read. We'll put in the string that contains the stringified points. Also, we need to say if it's false and if it's not equals to an empty string. So this only takes place on the objects that have their shadow points defined. sh points ds grid read sh defined. Right. sh points ds grid read. Alright, so this will create this ds grid. We can then say sh height ds grid height. So that's the ds grid we have to work with. Right. Well, actually... Okay, so we'll get the height and we'll get this thing. And we'll set the prep shadows is true. And then in the draw event, at least for now, I'll let it be in the draw end event for the time being. We'll say if prep shadows is true, which means that we have prepped our shadows. Or have we? No, we haven't. See, we only have... This doesn't contain the x and y coordinates. This contains the other stuff. So we'll need to create... We'll need to go here and create... So this is not sh points, this is sh rel, as in relative. What we need to do now is go sh points, and we'll do ds grid create width of 2 height. We'll create the same height as this. The only difference is that the first one has 2 points of data, which will contain length and direction. The second one is going to be different. It will contain the x and y coordinates, which we'll calculate now. So here's what we'll do. Result x, and this will be pretty much like the part of the level loading procedure. Result x, result y. So we'll do here, we'll say length, direction, length, direction x. You'd be surprised how much you have to use this function when you're working with physics. And we'll say no, we'll do 4 xx equals 0, xx less than sh height, sx plus plus. We need to do this as many times as there are entries in the first ds grid. So length direction x, length direction y. In here we'll say ds grid get, and we'll say from the sh defined at the position of 0, which is the length, I think so, yeah, and xx as well as position 1. Same thing for the length direction y. Now, length direction, this needs to also include the phi rotation. This is why we couldn't record just the x and y coordinates in the first place, because objects can be rotated, so this is when we'll have our 4 defined points. Now, so this gives us the x and y coordinates, and now we need to write that down in ds grid set this one, the sh points ds grid, and we'll say 0 xx, value of the x coordinate, and then we'll say with 1 xx, this will be the y coordinate. So they'll go through that, and in the end we'll have this ds grid to do our dirty work. Alright, so we have our, we can still use sh height in here, so we'll say 4 xx equals 0, xx less than sh height, xx plus plus. So we have to look through every point, and we have to draw circle. SHX, SHY. Alright, we'll basically say DS grid get from this DS grid, except it has to be not that DS grid, it's this one, SH points. At 0, XX, and will be 1, XX. And that will give us the X and Y coordinates of the point. So now, draw set color, C white. I just want to draw these. Just want to draw these points out, and we'll see if it works. It's probably going to give me an error because I missed something. Way to have way to have confidence in my own skill. One and two. And okay, so what are we doing here? Variable object before grass, prep shadows not set before reading it. That's the prep shadows, that's this one in the create event. Prep shadows equals false. And that should have inherited that variable. Should it not have? Oh, yeah, that's right. I think if I have... Oh man, let's see, where is it? What was it, the half fade, I think. Create event. Yeah, so there's an inherited thing, so event inherited. Alright, so we'll need to make sure that it inherits the event from the parent. Although it should be doing that by default? Huh. Okay, what now? Grid, DS grid read, argument 2 incorrect, type, unknown, expected a string. Oh yeah, that's right, of course. I've had this, I've made this mistake before. In the step event, DS grid, no, in the step event, yeah. So we create, it's this one. So we have to put in the name of the DS grid we're writing to first, and then the string from which we read. I've done this before. Object before is grass, fade, sh not set before reading it. Okay, once more. This is the point where we need the event inherited. And this is locked because that's the master object. Although that's kind of weird. Wait, which variable was it complaining about? This is what happens when you write a whole bunch of code without testing it first. Okay. So it says step line 19, DS grid, sh rel. Step 1, line 19. sh. Oh yeah, that's right. DS grid create. Wait. sh relative. Where did I get that variable from? Okay, we read. sh relative. Define relative. Ah, yeah, we haven't created it yet. Okay. So we'll create width 0, height 0, and we'll load into it. Just a blank DS grid. Nothing special. Start server, what's next? Holy cow, it's running at least. Okay. So it is supposed to be drawing the number of circles. A number of circles around. Oh, yes. The coordinates are relative, so it has to be x plus, y plus. That's why. That's why we were doing it in a relative form. Okay, where are my circles? Oh, well, I see circles around here. So I see circles, but they're kind of in weird places. I see them, though. That's important. Okay. So there could be a problem with the source material, or there could be a problem with the way we're doing this. It could be the physics rotation has to be set to minus, multiplied by -1, multiplied by -1. It could be any number of things. Okay. So here's the easiest way to figure this out. I will take one of these objects. We'll put it right in the center, and we'll see what it looks like. What the points for it look like. Although, before we do that, let me just quickly check which order did we record the data in. Was it length direction or direction length? Shadow define. Length direction. First it was length, then it was direction. Yeah, direction is 1. Okay. Could have been, again, because I'm using x and y coordinates instead of the proper physics x, physics y. Check that in a moment. So, let me even perhaps move this out here. And I think we're gonna have to go back to the shadow definer room. And in this shadow define, we're also gonna have to do a draw event. And shadow define. So in the draw event, we'll do width. Actually, draw end event. So width target, and we'll need to make sure that target, if target is not ID, which is the default value, we've set it. So with target, we're gonna say for xx equals 0, xx below, and we'll need to get the DS grid height but we'll get it as a separate variable. gh1 and xx++. So we'll do the following. Draw a circle. And we'll have to do sh sha x, sha y. I want to make sure I don't repeat any variables. Length direction x, length direction y. Right. And I need the DS grid that we write this to. Shadow points. Length first, direction last. DS grid get shadow points. We'll do x and y. Not x and y, it's going to be y or xx. This will be 0. And then for direction, this will be 1. I was hoping I could get away without displaying the values. Not displaying the values first, but oh well. We'll do x plus that, and we'll do y plus that. Now, I don't think I should be doing this with the target. Come to think of it. I think we'll just do this. We'll say target.x, target.y. Okay. See if it works. Oh, 1 second. Forgot a couple of things. Radius 10. True for the outline. Okay, let's see if this runs even in the first place. So, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Huh. Right. Okay, so what's going on here? Draw set color C white. Draw end event. Object draw. Object shadow define. If ID does not equals to self. You know, that could be a problem. Draw a target. Y plus 20. OBJ. Object get name. We'll get the name of the object that it's actually displaying, just to make sure that it's displaying the right object. Undefined. Why, of course. Not said before reading it. Draw a circle. Okay, how about this? We'll get the height. We'll say if height is above 0, which means that the DS grid has something in it, has some data in it, then we'll draw this stuff. Makey sensey? Sure. would be great if I could click on this thing. Draw a circle. Oh yeah. Okay. One more time. Okay, well that's not right. Draw line 18. Okay, let's say that we'll define them right in there. We'll start with 0. Come on. We can get this running. Still though. Not said before reading it. .y. Why is it always the .y? Why is it never the .x? This is kind of weird. Let's see. You gotta create a separate tool for getting your stuff to work. Extra frustrating. Okay, this is the actual level. This is the instance. Right. Target. Why does it say that it's actually undefined when I clearly define it? Okay, you know what? Sure, whatever you say. Let's put a instance ID in there. Okay. Well, okay, maybe this thing is actually not correct. Object get name. Index of an object to check. You can use string to get object index using the return string along with the function. Object get name. So I still need to supply the object index. I need instance name, I think. Instance. Object get name. Sprite get name. Okay. Variable instance get. Huh. Well, this is interesting. What does this do? The function you get the value from a given named variable. This looks like input the variable are getting again does not exist when the function will return the keyword. Function primarily used with compatibility scripts for imported projects. Okay. Fine. You know what I can do? I can do this. Draw line XY. We'll do draw line width. So from XY to target.x, target.y. Now we'll know if it's if it knows what the target is. And the width of it will be 5 pixels. Let's make sure we type in correctly. I just need some sort of verification that the object knows what the target is. Yes, it does. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Why are you not drawing the points? Mouse button pressed. Oh, MB right. Wait, both of them are assigned to an MB right. What the hell? Oof. Okay, that's the source of all my problems. Okay, left. There's the point. It's not supposed to be there, but we have something. Right. So length, direction. So this is probably where I need to do phi position x, phi position x, phi position y, phi position y. Physics objects use physics variables. Point distance argument 1 incorrect. Expected a number. Type undefined. Oh yeah. What am I doing? I need target dot. I need the target's position and the target's rotation. Kind of important. 1, 2. Okay, this is... It seems to be going only in a single thing here. Length, direction. So if we go into the draw and event, shadow X. Oh, because shadow X, shadow Y, yeah. The more you rush, the more of these things you will miss. Sometimes I get so excited that I want to get this done. Get this working that... Eesh. And that's probably why the thing wasn't working in the other one. Oh, I didn't want to play debug. Come on. No debugger. Thank you. Just a regular old... Good old compile. That's all I need. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close. Beautiful. So now, if I go to the regular and Mad Dog, how's it going? Alright, so this is the string that I need to replace. Haven't seen you in a while. Alright, so now, hopefully it will work. It does work. It does work indeed. And it rotates around the points where it's supposed to rotate, so that's pretty cool. I have to memorize the preamble of the Constitution. Interesting. Well, you know, gotta show that patriotism. Gotta show that undying love for your country. We'll go to Terrain Master. Terrain mass, beautiful. So in here, draw and event, we have the okay, we're drawing the circles. That's correct. Now, we also need to draw a line. And we need to draw a line from player OBJ. Actually, we need to draw a line from this coordinate. I might as well just do x plus and y plus just to save on that front, save on calculations. So we'll do from x, from y, and then we'll say we need the new points for the other stuff. So sh x far x, sh far y, length direction x, length direction y, right, and we'll say you'll have to start from this, so relative to this point, and now we'll need to do point distance. Oh, they had point distance 3D. That's pretty cool. So point direction, actually. And this will be from SHX, SHY to OBJ player.x. Although that might be wrong. OBJ player.y. If it's wrong, it'll at least give me a cool demonstration. So anyways, direction. So we'll say length will be 400 pixels. Direction will be what we've just calculated. Like that. So now far x, far y have to go in here. And that should give me a line that acts like a shadow. Right. A line that acts like a shadow. Okay. So, yes, but not quite. It needs to be direction plus 180 because it needs to go away from the player. It's kind of an important one. There we go. So now that is technically acting like a shadow. Absolutely as a shadow would. So here's what we have to do now. Now, I think I need to draw a triangle between every single point. I think. I'm pretty sure. Although that would be kind of weird. We need 4 points. From this one cycle, we get 2. I mean, okay, so what we can do is we can get the triangles sequentially. So we'll say we'll do this. So S, X, X, Y, that's the point. Far X, far Y, that's the second point. Then what we need, here's the thing. Since we're gonna do this twice, we'll need to do this according to the height of the DS grid minus 1. Because we're gonna do this twice. Right? So we're gonna say SH SX, and then we'll do 2, 2. And this will be XX plus 1. Right? XX plus 1. And we can go ahead and yeah, we don't need to draw this. Then we need to do this. Direction 2. SH SY. And in the end, we're going to get far x1, far x2 based off of the second point. That's kind of my method of thinking here. And this got to be direction 2. Okay, so now instead of draw a line, well, we can still draw a line. Just need to have, say, draw polygon, draw path. Oh, that's pretty cool. Draw primitive. That could also work. Draw... Wait. There's no polygon, so draw triangle. The triangle will take SH. We'll probably have to make this into a script so we can supply the 4 points, then we'll draw the thing for us. But we'll do here, what we will do here is SH SHX to SHX SHY, that's the first point. Then we'll do SHX SH far X SH far Y SH X2 and SH Y2. That is the first. That should be the first triangle. We'll set it to true to be an outline. SHXY, far X, far Y, x and y2. Whew. So we need to define 3 points, 3 xy coordinates in order to draw the triangle. 2 triangles will make a polygon, so that will make us our shadow, if this works. Of course it doesn't. Undefined value. SH points XX plus 2. Y plus 2, it's supposed to be plus 1. Yeah, see, that means it went out of bounds. Because this is minus 1, and this is plus 1. What we're basically doing here is we're looking 2 values ahead. So we'll need to compensate. Okay. Check this out. We have some workings of shadows here. So all we need to do is now define the second polygon, or the second triangle, which, so it's SHX, X, 0.1, 0.1 far, 0.2. So this will have to be 0.2, 0.1 far, 0.2 far. So SH2, 0.2 far, and 0.2, 0.1 far, 0.2 far. So this will be not the far one. Okay, well, see if it works. Start, here we go. Okay. I have a feeling we might be missing something. Let's see. 0.1, 0.1 far, 0.2. 0.2. Oh, it's 0.2, 0.2. 0.1 far, so it's this one. And 0.2 far. Okay. That's what we got wrong. Hopefully. Hey, there we go. It's also looking three-dimensional, so that's kind of cool. You seeing this? That's awesome. So the only last thing that we need, the only last thing that we're not doing is we don't have the first point and last point coordinates. Right? In order to get the shadows to look nice. I like this effect. But yeah, in order to get the shadows to look nice, we need to make sure that we close the shadows together. Really cool stuff. Right, so here's what I'll do. We'll need to define this. After we have gotten actually, yeah, after we've calculated everything, we'll say if XX, there needs to be like an extra cycle for this, which we can technically do it there, but we need to say, actually we could do it there. that extra cycle that we disabled, because otherwise it would make this call move out of bounds, because it says, what's the coordinate over here? +1, which means it will move out of bound, but we have to get the two coordinates at the same time. Okay, so we can do the following. If x-axis is equals 0, means that this is the starting one, the very first coordinate. So we'll say start, start shx, and start shy. We'll say shx and shy. Only on the very first xx equals 0. Then we'll say if xx is equals, see if it's below, if it's equals to the second last entry, then we'll say this is the end shx and shy. We also need to record the far, so start sh far x, start sh far y, and we'll do the same thing for the end. Alright, sounds good. Thanks, MedDoc, for dropping by. Alright, so start will, this is the start, shxy, then sh far, sy far. Those are the variables for that. With this one, we need to get the second one, the ending one. The ending point. Or I should say it will be this one, x2, y2, right? First pair, very first point, second point. So this would be second last point, and this would be the last point. That's what we're effectively getting. On the first run, record the very first point. On the last run, record the very last point. So now, I also want to make sure that I only draw this last thing on the last cycle of this for loop. So we'll say same thing, if xx is equal to the last cycle, then we will draw one more triangle. Right? And then we'll have to do start x, start y, start x far, start y far, and then start this. I think so. Actually, no, it has to be start x far, and then end x, and end y. And then here, we'll have to do and x and y, start x, start y. No. Start far x, start far y. And then end far x and far y. Okay. All right. Okay. So what do we have? What do we have here? Chances are it's not drawing the last one. So chances are it's actually not getting to this point. Would it ever get to that point? As long as it's below. So if it would be, so the last one that it would stop is that one. -2. Hey, look at that. I got it working. So technically this is creating our shadow box. Okay, so here's the dealio. I'm drawing all of this stuff here, but I should not be doing these calculations in the draw event. That's the most important thing. So I will take this, cut it out, and we'll go into the step event, and right at the end here, calculate shadows. This has to be in the step event. There's no, you can't put this sort of calculation in the start event, in the draw event. All logic has to go in the step. Draw is just for drawing. Now, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create a function. In GameMaker Studio, that means I have to create a script. So we'll do scr draw polygon. All right. All right. So draw polygon. I'm gonna have to get. I think this might actually be a step event of the master object, which is okay. It might as well be in the master object, but I need to make sure terrain master, step event, calculate shadows. Yes, okay. Which, yes, it's technically supposed to be there, and that's where I programmed it. Oh, right, so S source or script draw polygon. So what I need to do here is I need to move these things. But here's the problem. We draw with every step of the loop. So we draw with every step of the loop, which is why there's that for loop in there. I think I have no choice but to have it in the draw event, actually. Okay, let's, before I lose everything, copy this, put it in the draw event. Because I'm actually using a loop to go through every single point. That's why... Oh, man. Yeah, so... Another reason why this should usually be done with shaders. I have a feeling that's exactly what I'm going to be doing after. After I see just how terrible this is. Which, I mean, if it works, then it works. If you use it with some sort of moderation, sense of moderation, I think it should be okay. We'll see. It's all about testing it out. Okay, so this is working. I thought I could do this draw polygon, but I mean, I technically can still get it out into a draw polygon. As a matter of fact, I could get this whole thing into a script. Now the script is only going to be terrain related because it uses a whole bunch of terrain variables that only exist inside of the terrain. But technically I can just put in this guy, and that should draw the stuff nonetheless. Yep. It's still drawing something. What is it not drawing? Oh, I took out the wait, where did this thing go? Where's the oh, for crying out loud. I lost the thing, didn't I? Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? This is why you gotta be careful when you move stuff around. I'm missing something here. Let's see, step event. Okay. Draw event. Oh, here we go. But it's still missing the thing. So it's in the draw end event. There we go. That's what I need. Okay. I'll take that. Thank you very much. I will get rid of this. Yes. I'll get rid of this. I'll put that in here. And finally, put this in here. Good lord, you can lose all your work that way. Just copying stuff around. Moving it about. There we go. So that is drawing my shadows. It's not drawing that thing though. That's because draw self. We'll draw self first. Right. So why is this important? Importante. Well, first of all, this will be set to false, which is the draw triangle. So it doesn't draw the outline, it draws the actual body of the shadow. Right. Start server. There's the there's that thing. Another thing that it's probably gonna have to draw is the center polygon, right? Because you can see that clearly. Next thing we gotta do is set the C black for the color so that the shadows would be black. Afterwards we'll reset it to C white. Okay. Start server, ready. Okay, here we go. Shadows being drawn in black. Alright. So the next step is, yeah, getting this stuff to work. So the whole point is, to do this with the shadows, is that we don't draw this, we don't draw the polygons in this object. What we have to do is we have to go into our lighting object. Object lighting. Go into the draw event. And now here's what we have to do. First we subtract from the blackness. Right? We'll have to make the blackness completely black. So first we'll subtract from the blackness. Is what we do here with the flashlight, with the player object. And after, after that with not projectile, with obj terrain master, which will propagate to all the child objects, we'll have to do just call this script. That's all you gotta do. Now this script inside of itself first checks whether or not this has a prep shadow to true. So that should have our shadows in place. It'll look kind of weird right now. Everything's black until I turn the flashlight on, and it's not working, but I know why it's not working. That's the most important part. So you see, when we are drawing the stuff to the surface, see, we're subtracting the view size, view width and view height from it. That's what we have to do with this thing as well. So when we draw our triangle, don't draw the line, thank you very much. We'll have to do sh. We might be able to actually just place it here. Although, nah, that's okay. Let's do, when we draw this, let's pass some variables in it. What the hell? Let's make it the good old proper function way. So here's us calling this thing the shadow draw function. So we'll pass on vx, vy, view width, view height. So this, we're now passing on these variables up here. Now it says arguments expecting none, and that's because we are actually not expecting anything. So here's what we'll say. We'll say var, 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 view x, view y, view width, view height. We'll say equals, 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 equals. Hi, how's the best game developer doing? Pretty good. I'm putting in real-time shadows, or I'm attempting to do so, at least. Okay, and we'll say argument, argument 0. So this says which argument is actually being passed on. Argument 0. So we'll say argument 0, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now we should be able to add these here. Technically I don't even need the v width and v height. I just need this. So x minus x, vx, y minus vy. So this is all we have to do. Subtract this from x's, subtract the other one from the y's. X, 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 y, 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 y. Why? Seinfeld. Okay. See if it works. Okay. Okay, not quite the right effect, but at least the shadows are in the right place. Now, the reason it's not the right effect is because we set subtract over here, and then there's our normal. So we need to make sure that we put in so add shadows. So we say subtract from blackness, our flashlights, then we set it to normal, and then we need to add our shadows. All still within one same surface. I used to have a system that used 3 surfaces. Holy cow, was it slow. Okay, so flashlight. There we go. now if we go over there, you can see our shadows. Right, now they're still kind of wonky. All I have to do, well, there's a couple of things I have to do, but right now, over here we say draw surface. I'll need to say draw surface extended. So I need additional functions. We'll say Vx, Vy, scale 1, rotation none, C white for the color, but blending, or the alpha, will have to be 0.7. The entire surface will be at a part transparency. And it crashed, but it crashed because I am slowly running out of disk space. That's another thing. I'm gonna have to move all these recordings off somewhere. Okay, here we go. So that's the regular. And now if we go over there, we can see our shadows. Alright, so the shadows are just teeny tiny bit wonky, but we have them. You know, turn on the flashlight, our shadow is there. Now, there's another question. The question of the distance here. So we see our distance is only 400 pixels. The shadow length will have to be a pretty long one, like larger than the screen. So that's what we'll have to be setting our length direction calculation as. But we're quickly approaching the area where, let's see, nice shadow. Now our shadow is kind of blech right now, at least our shadow mask. Listened to a song 20 times, wrote it down without having any hints. Think I got it now. Is it like piano practice? Okay, so it's working. The shadows are working. So all I have to do now is go to the shadow definer room where I have set up the tool, and I need the shadow definer to find this object. You see, it has a line to it, which means that it knows that this object exists. Okay, so we'll do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Close the application. Go over here and put in the new shadow thing. Okay, and yeah, I need to make sure that I'll drop this below. So, right, so I can define shadows now. So that's woohoo. The only question is, do I draw them on top or below? Things get kind of complicated. See, right now it's drawn on top. Not only that, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to draw them below. I have a feeling. However, how do you draw the shadows below when the entire surface is drawn on top? I think I have an answer to that, but I'll have to check. Oh, man. See, if I want this to work that way, then I need to subtract the shape. I need to subtract the shape of the object from the shadow, which I am not quite 100% sure how to do without drawing the actual object. Although, well, let's experiment. So we've got our object lighting. Yeah. This is approaching the point where I may need a second. I may need a second surface just for the shadows, which is the point where things start getting expensive, performance-wise. But technically now, every single object in this room that is a half piece object is going to have shadows. There'll be shadows like those, but you know, it's almost there. It's almost there. This is already visually so much better. How do I subtract? How do I subtract it? And this would be in the script that we just created over in the yonder way. When we draw this, so GPU set blend mode. And after we do this, we need to do reset BM normal blend mode. So how about this? We'll draw this stuff. We'll say blend mode BM subtract. We'll do draw self. It's probably not going to work, but at least I want to see what it looks like. And then we'll reset the blend mode to normal. Yeah, that basically does nothing. How about BM SRC alpha? There's also an inverted SRC alpha. Yeah, see, that doesn't really do anything to the shadow. If I place the lighting object below this stuff, so lighting over there, if I place it below the tiles, below everything, then technically only the insides would have shadows shown. The problem is that the rest of the surrounding environment is not going to look like well, anything. Right? So you see, that's working. It's working and it's looking interesting. Very quite interesting. It's just that the surrounding environment is now just not affected by lighting. Like, I can go and set the object lighting thing, and I can go and I can set this to 0.95 in near pitch darkness is what we're going to be seeing here. Start server. There we go. So inside we're near pitch blackness, but we can still see the outline. And that's not really nice. It's looking cool. I'll give you that. And there's the boulder having a spastic event. So the only way I can circumvent this is if in every object I will tell every object to draw itself. If I tell every object to draw itself with a duplicate of itself on top, and that duplicate will be drawn black and will fade it as much as the main surface. So this surface right now is 0.95 transparency, so it's almost non-transparent. You can almost see all of it. Yeah, they look realistic. Yeah, it looks better than just, you know, a plain thing. But there's technical hurdles that I need to kind of jump through in order to get this to look right. I mean, here's what I can do. Since all the terrain here, except for some of the dynamic objects, the non-terrain ones. So we'll draw self. We can also do draw sprite extended, sprite index, image index. So everything is synced up. X, Y, 1, 1, or actually image X scale, image Y scale, rotation image angle, color C black, C white will draw whatever the color of the object is. So up until this point, this is exactly the same as typing in this, except the two things that we're going to change is we're going to draw them in black, and we're going to draw them at 0.95. So it will draw itself, but then it will also draw a black version of the same sprite at a very low opacity. Okay. So here we go. You can see it's technically working, but see now the flashlight is not penetrating it. So the only way we can do this then is to do it once again from this guy with object projectile, which object terrain master. So first we'll draw the faded version. See how much trouble you have to go through just to get the basic lighting system running. Oh yeah, well, yeah. Well, this would be useless because since it's the lighting system is located below all the assets, you know, not a whole lot of reason to be doing this. The only other thing that can be done is setting the color of all of these assets manually. Now, see, they still haven't implemented the system for populating this to all selected objects. So how are you supposed to do this? It's honestly, seriously. I don't even know if shaders would help. The only way I can get this done is if I have a second surface. Unless I can draw an entire layer twice. No, but once again, when the flashlight shines at the thing, it would have to be revealed. Yeah, so there's so much stuff you have to do to get this working. Oh man. Start server. There we go. Mad Dog. I know, it looks kind of cool. Let me disable the thing, the whatchama stuff. Terrain. This. The debugging stuff. I remember having to look for answers for this issue before with the RTag Rise project, which is the main reason why in RTag Rise I don't have any dynamic shadows. I do have static shadows for the static lighting. No dynamic. See, that is just that looks kind of terrible. I need to find a way to mask So mask out the shape of the thing from this guy. BM subtract. Unless you could do maybe something like a BM add. Right. That could work, actually. So okay, so lights could be in white, shadows could be in black. Instead of doing subtraction, we draw everything that needs to be. It could work. It could honestly work. So okay, how about this? The lighting, object lighting. There we go. So object lighting, instead of subtract, we'll just draw like this. Normal. Now blend mode, normal. Yeah, and over here, let's go ahead and not do this for the moment. So technically what we should see now is a black and white thing. Black and white screen. Which, of course, I need to make sure that I'm drawing the surface in full. And my background, little background layer, see, it adds a blue tint to it because I want it to be a nighttime scene. Okay. So this should give me a black and white piece. Okay. So all the shadows are in black. All the lights are in white. Now, I need all the terrain objects. All the terrain objects need to blend with the flashlight? No. See, if I make the terrain objects white, then they'll just be unaffected by the lighting, which I still need them to be. Okay, so I may have a solution, but it's kind of meh. I'm not sure how it's gonna work. Object lighting, so let's just re-enable these blend modes. Don't need that. So we have object lighting. What we need also, we'll try this, obj shadows, object shadows. If it works, then it works, you know, it's a solution. We'll make a new layer. We'll say it's shadows. This layer will be below the tiles layer. Now, in here, we'll take from object lighting and with this piece of code, we'll copy it, we'll comment it out here, and we'll go to the object shadows. We'll create a draw event. We'll plop it in here, and here's the thing. These guys will replace with 0, so it doesn't actually add the view width and view coordinates to the shadows. All I have to do now is go to this place, drop in object shadows, and I think that should do something. You know, even AAA games have a certain level of, you know, just let it go going on. Here we go. That's what I'm basically looking at. So what's happening here is that the shadows are separated, decoupled on a separate layer. And that's where they are. As a matter of fact, they should probably be... We have... What are these tiles for? Tiles. Do we have tiles in here even? Any? Let's see. Oh, that's the background tile layer. Okay. Yeah, so I need the shadows to be above the fog. I think we may have just come up with a plausible solution for this. Right? There we go. We have shadows. Right? All we have to do is maybe in the script, we need to not draw the shadows at the full opacity. So we need to do draw set alpha 0.9. Right, and then after we draw it, we'll reset it to being 1. Important to reset it. Well, I think I got it to work. There we go. Beautiful. And I can see that it's still drawing the this guy, the circles. Need to make sure we get rid of those. Draw circles. All right, we got shadows. The only thing now is that for every object that I want to have shadows, I need to define a shadow box. So if this was done in a shader, the shader would be able to discern the edges of the object. So these aren't real-time shadows. I mean, they're technically real-time, but they're not They're not shader shadows, which is what you usually want to do. Right? And another problem is that you can still see the shadow even if it's in the darkness, right? So it might be a little bit hard to see in the stream, but there's the edge, and if I move over there, I can still see the edge over there, the edge of the shadow. This is where if it was in the surface, the lighting thing, then it would look a lot better. But if I set it to maybe 0.5, maybe it'll look better. Who knows? Is there another one? Draw triangle. Ooh, oh, that's pretty cool. Draw triangle color. So draw triangle color will actually... Oh man, but no, it's color. If it was like transparency, if you could adjust the transparency in the color, then that would be cool. Basically, the further the shadow goes, the smaller it would become. But oh well. I mean, we could get it perfect, but would spend a lot more time on it. We'd have to make another shadow system. Well, the shadow system for the dynamic objects that move around would have to be just a tiny bit different. Would have to be rotating the objects around. We'll also need to make sure that we're not running any shadow calculations for objects that are far away. So that is a thing too. But so far I'd say we got some pretty good progress on it. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. I want to take a break and eat something because I'm hungry. And maybe I'll call it a day for today and catch some early sleep so I could do this early morning tomorrow. Alright? Okay. Sounds good. Thanks everybody. See you next time.